Hey team, thank you so much for checking out my tutorial on Nearpod. This is Mrs. Davis, 8th grade science. If at any point you guys need extra help with this, a little troubleshooting, feel free to message me. I'm happy to help. You can email me or message me through Teams. I can't stress this enough. Nearpod is 100% your friend. It's very user-friendly for students and teachers. Please don't look at this as one more thing. I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed. I promise you, this will make remote learning so much easier. I'm already seeing great responses from my students. They're messaging me. I made a poll on my page to see how students felt about using Nearpod as opposed to the other program I was using. Every kid is loving it, and it's very, very user-friendly, and it can be used on any device. They could do this on their phones if they needed to, and that's one of the reasons why I love it. For you, if you're sitting here thinking, I'm a little nervous, this is a new program, I'm already a little overwhelmed, if you have ever made a PowerPoint, had a Facebook, used Paint if you're a 90s baby, or made any kind of social media page, this is easier than that. I promise you, super easy to use, very user-friendly. So don't be nervous, let's jump on into it. I'm gonna show you how to create and find lessons and then how to assign lessons. So here we go. All right, click the little home button if you're not already there. So these are the lessons I already have. I'm gonna talk about those in a minute, how I found them, but you can also create your own lessons. I don't know how to use Google Slides, I don't use that. Maybe that's a tool that you can explore on your own. But that's an option as well. Or you can create a lesson in Nearpod. Okay, name your lesson, add a slide. Here's where the fun stuff comes. Add content. You can add a slide, just a normal PowerPoint. You can do vocabulary, which I highly recommend for middle school. One of my favorites is field trip. Like, let's say, I'm doing volcanoes. So I did a field trip for students to go to Hawaii, and it's just a 3D virtual page for students to kind of explore and look at. A really fun one would be if you're teaching or having students read Harry Potter. They can go to London, for example, just something kind of fun. And then they have other options, graphing calculator for math. And then there's add web content. So if you have a teacher page you want to refer to, or a news ELA site, whatever you want to use, you can add this. It does warn you about using it on devices, so that's just a heads up there. Maybe have another link on a separate page so they can access it. And you can add activity. Here comes the fun part. Time to climb is probably #1 student favorite for me. It's like Kahoots, except they have like a little avatar dude, and every time they get the question right, they move up the mountain. This is great in a classroom because unlike Kahoot, it keeps playing, like it keeps going. There's no pausing. You don't have to click next. It just runs through the questions and it has a timer. With them doing it on their own, the timer goes 30 seconds to a minute, and they just, as soon as they answer, it goes to the next question. You can turn any quiz into a time to climb. So if you want to break it up and make it a little bit more fun for students, you can always do a time to climb. They love it. Open-ended questions, matching pairs. I have not used Flipgrid. Draw It. I will say, if you're going to use Draw It, when you're doing your video for the day and you're going through this with students, I would do a quick little tutorial on how to use Draw. These are not 90s kids. They didn't grow up with using Paint. That little app using Paint. So they get confused on how to use it. There's like a text tool, and I'll show you that in a minute. Collaborate. I'm not sure how to use that with online learning because it's really great in a classroom because they can like and post each other's and comment on each other's open-ended questions. So it's more of like an open forum, a great do now. Polls, I highly recommend using this. I use it in my slides to check in with students to see how long it takes to do the assignment, just to test it out. How confident do you feel? So the first time I do a lesson, I'll use the poll as, hey, how long did it take you to do this? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. That tells me, did my students use extended time that needed it? I also have it so if there was a technology issue, they can click that. How long did you actually spend going through this PowerPoint? How much time did you need? Another thing I'll do to check in with students is, on the next lesson, I'll say, how confident do you feel in the content? Are you a level 1? I got this. Level 2, I'm okay. Level 3, totally lost. I don't get this at all. That's a great little check-in. I like to do that before I do the time to climb to see if they really were as confident as they say they were. And then fill in the blanks memory tests are pretty straightforward. So polls, a big one for me that I enjoy using. Number one for students would be time to climb. So that's how you start to add your activities, and they're very easy to make, very easy. Okay, so if this is all a little bit overwhelming for you and you're like, I'm not ready to make my own PowerPoint, that's fine. You can find stuff to use right now that are really great, and probably I don't have enough time to make some as engaged and intricate as this. I mean, these are awesome. So how do you find these? You go to Nearpod, Lesson Library. Okay, go right. You can do it by state. I don't even need to do that. I just do free. I do my subject, and I do my grade level. And sometimes what I do just to mix it up is I might do the grade below and the grade above, just to for my honors kids and for my standard kids, bottom quartile kids, I might do 7th grade instead. All right, we're doing earth science. So let's see what they got for earth science. Boom, look at all this stuff. Wow, okay, some of them are just matching just a game, and you add some slides. Time to climb, that's great. And some of these are in Spanish. Woo woo, ESOL. All right, that's great. That's a great resource for ESOL students if they're Spanish speaking. I don't know if they have it in every language. But one of the plus sides is if they're using their device, it's probably already converting it to their language anyway. Wow, volcanoes, there it is. All right, so let's say you see this lesson, you're ready to use it. You can preview it just by clicking it. Okay, it'll show you what it'll look like on a student's end. Wow, this looks awesome. I want it. I'm going to use it. So you'll click this button right here. It'll say add to my library instead of showing my library. All right, so click it in my library. Go home. Boom, it's there. What I did is this was 35 slides, the original. So I duplicated it twice. You just click this. You can share it, duplicate it, add to, school library folder. I just duplicated it twice and shortened it and add slides as I needed. So it was that quick. I mean, it took me 30 minutes to take a lesson, look through it, and edit it as I needed to. Quick and easy. I'll come back to this in a minute to show you reports. That's how you check their grades, but I'll come back to that. All right, so now you got your lessons picked. This is my Monday and this is my Tuesday. Actually, this is my Tuesday, my Wednesday. Now, how do I assign it to students? Okay, so you don't want to pick live lesson unless you're doing like a office hours webcam live lesson, because this is teacher paced, meaning you click through it and it will automatically populate on their device what you're doing. Student pace is what you want, so they do it on their own at their own pace. It's pretty self-explanatory. Student paced. Okay, you can see I've got a couple codes. What I recommend doing is have a code per class period, so assign it per class. Okay, so this is my first period, second period, third period, and so on. All right, so what I like is once you have it here, you can expiration date, you can go down and pick how long it'll be open for. So they have, it'll be open or locked for only 2 days. So they have 24 hours to do this and the code expires. So they can't complete it past the due date. Or if you want to assign it just for the week, that means they can't access it after this date. That's really handy because then there is no late extension. It's, hey, that's it. The code's gone. They can't access it. Okay, so I got first, second, third, let's add fourth. Here's my fourth period code or fifth period, whatever period. Okay, so in a classroom, I just have them join. They go to joinnearpod.com and they add the code, boom, bam, done. On here, it's even easier. You can add the link to your pages, to your class notes. You can add it to Google Classroom, or wow, you can add it to Teams. So easy. Just click Teams to start the assignment. There we go. Okay, share a channel. You want to create an assignment. Choose your class, choose your period, enter the title, instructions, great. And then there's the link to it. I'm going to show you what it looks like on my end, how I create the assignment. I kind of copy and paste and fiddle with stuff to make it. This is what my assignment looks like to students. Okay, daily video, complete Nearpod. Okay, so there's the class code, it expires. I also remind them to not do nicknames, do their first name or they don't receive credit. Pretty straightforward. And then how they access it is really easy. So instead of trying to do the code and joining, they just click here. Boom. And it loads for them. They do their full name. Now, I've already accessed this. This is what's really cool, is I've already gone into this a couple times when I did my daily video. So I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like from a student end, but also if they get kicked out, it doesn't lose their information. They can just click it back and rejoin, and it saves their progress. So that's really cool. They won't lose any of their work. So I'm rejoining the session. You're going to see my work's already on there. So as a student, I just click through. This is what I'm going to learn today. Okay, you can see I kind of was fiddling with it. This is the drawing that I was talking about. If they're not familiar or if I've never used Paint, or they're on a device like a tablet or their phone, this one gets a little tricky. So they have their question, which is, what do you think of when you think of volcanoes? This is a great little do now. For me, my answer was, it reminds me of Hawaii, and I show students in my video how to do this. So they can write. Now, if they're using a mouse, that's how it's going to look. If they're using their finger, it's going to look like a hot mess. So I recommend showing them how to use a text tool, and how to upload pictures, which is awesome. I like that a lot, especially if they can't draw. If they're not artistic, they might want to do pictures instead. That's your choice. But I do try to show them how to use this one. When I'm doing my daily video, I read these to students, add extra content, make it a little bit more personable. So my daily video is I do a live lesson from the student side and answer, and tell them this is how I would answer, just my expectation, and just run through this. Open-ended question, this is what it looks like. What was the most interesting fact to you and why? My mind was blown by ... Volcanoes. Here's how a video looks. Wow, they just click it and it starts. Incredible. Awesome. Also, if you notice, it says copy link. So let's say their device isn't working, they can copy it and open it in a different browser if they needed to. Continuing notes, and here's what a quiz looks like. Pretty straightforward. Again, I could have turned this into a time to climb. So what's really cool is I'm skipping through this. Wow, I missed a question. It'll tell them. It also shows them their results. Obviously, I got a 0 out of 4 because I didn't do any of it. So they automatically see the results. Here's that poll I was talking about. I used it to see how long it took them to do the activity, because this is the first, one of the second ones I've done. So I want to see how long it took them. Later in the week, my poll will be more of how do you feel about volcanoes or whatever was covered this week. This was really great to check in. This is a slide that I made, just like a PowerPoint, easy. This is a little extra assignment they had to do something fun at home, make a little volcano. And then I have another slide that reminds them to go back into Teams and submit their work and make sure they do everything correctly. Okay, so I've found my assignment. I've edited it the way I want it to be for students. I've made my video, my daily video, going through the PowerPoint with them. I mean, my video going through that whole thing that I just did with you guys took 5 or 10 minutes of my daily video just to run through it with students, and they pause and do their work on their own, but they can also follow me. So you've done all those things. Now, students are doing it. It's the next day. How do I find their work? Here we go. So you're going to go to reports. Oops, sorry about that. Go to reports. Hold on one second. Okay. View all presentations. All right, this is one that is ready to go. I'm going to click it. You would have all your class periods here, and then it shows you their work, how they did by each student. What I recommend is you download it and save this or export it so you can use this as attendance if needed. If you're doing attendance based on their assignments, or you want to make sure you don't lose it or you run out of space, I just recommend saving these, and you can delete it later if you need to. That's my suggestion. So it shows you their progress and how they're doing. All right, guys, so thank you for sticking with me for 15 minutes to see how to troubleshoot Nearpod. Like I said, it really is your friend. Students love it. It's much easier to access, as you guys can see, than other programs. I appreciate you guys. Happy planning. Good luck. And again, if you have any issues using Nearpod, feel free to message me. I'm happy to help. All right, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.